The Senate will come to order. I ask everyone present to please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In the absence of clergy, let us bow our heads in a moment of silent reflection or prayer. Reading of the journal.
In Senate, Tuesday, April 20th, 2021, the Senate met pursuant to adjournment. The journal of Monday, April 19th, 2021 was read and approved. On motion, the Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the journal stands approved as read. Presentation of petitions, messages from the Assembly. Secretary will read.
Senator Palumbo moves to discharge from the Committee on Rules, Assembly Bill number 955, and substituted for the identical Senate Bill 1307, third reading calendar 78.
Substitution so ordered.
Senator Myrie moves to discharge from the Committee on Crime, Victims, Crime, and Corrections, Assembly Bill number 3078, and substituted for the identical Senate Bill 261, third reading calendar 567.
Substitution so ordered.
Senator Prasad moves to discharge from the Committee on Codes, Assembly Bill number 6015, is substituted for the identical Senate Bill 61, third reading calendar 603.
Substitution so ordered. Messages from the Governor. Reports of standing committees. Communication and reports from state officers. Motions and resolutions. Senator Gianaris.
Thank you, Madam President. On behalf of Senator Hinchey, on page 33, I offer the following amendments to Calendar 596, Senate 5490, and ask that said bill retain its place on third reading calendar.
The amendment is received and the bill shall retain its place on the third reading calendar.
On behalf of Senator Jackson, I wish to call up Senate 2008A, recalled from the Assembly, which is now at the desk.
The Secretary will read.
Calendar number 570, Senate Print 2008A by Senator Jackson, an act to amend the insurance law.
To reconsider the vote by which the bill was passed.
The Secretary will call the roll on reconsideration.
Addabbo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White, I 62.
The bill is restored to its place on the third reading calendar.
I offer the following amendments.
The amendments are received.
On behalf of Senator Parker, I wish to call up Senate 1557, recalled from the Assembly, which is now at the desk.
The Secretary will read.
Calendar number 118, Senate Print 1557 by Senator Parker, an act to amend the public service law.
Move to reconsider the vote by which the bill was passed.
The Secretary will call the roll on reconsideration.
Addabbo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White, ayes 62.
The bill is restored to its place on the third reading calendar.
I offer the following amendments.
Amendments are received. The
Can we-
Secretary will read. Oh, sorry. Senator Gianaris.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, can we take up previously adopted Resolution 623 by Senator Jackson, read its title only, and recognize Senator Jackson?
The Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 623 by Senator Jackson, memorializing Governor Andrew M. Cuomo to proclaim April 2021 as Russian American History Month in the state of New York.
Senator Jackson on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. My colleagues, I rise this morning in celebration of the 10th anniversary of Russian American History Month in the month of April. As I reflect on our shared cultural heritage between American and Russian people, there are some names that I want to bring to mind of people who have shaped the ways we think about, laugh about, and enjoy our worlds. Here are some great Russian Americans who have made important contributions to our country. Isaac Asimov, one of the greatest science fiction writers of all time, who swept imaginations up to other worlds while helping us think about solving our own planet's problems. And like many of us, he was a product of New York City public schools. George Balanchine, one of the greatest choreographers ever, his move to New York in the 1930s brought new life to American ballet and musical stage. Yul Brynner and Kirk Douglas, two great actors on stage and screen. Douglas, a native of Amsterdam, New York, with parents from Belarus, was famous for dozens of screen roles and for helping to break the Hollywood blacklist against political and union activists. Brynner, born in Russia, brought us joy in his many Academy Award-winning roles. George and Irwin Gershon, son of Brooklyn, with Russian Jewish parents, helped create the Great American Songbook and George's first classical work, Rhapsody in Blue. It's still played before adoring audiences. Carrying on that tradition today is Regina Spektor, another of New York's own who came here at age 10 and sold out music halls around the world with her trademark music, imagination, and wit. And there are many, many more whose lives have played such a major role in American industry and culture. Igor Sikorsky, who created the world's first production helicopter. Igor Stravinsky, one of the most influential composers of the 20th century, and Joseph Brodsky, who served as an American poet laureate in the 1990s. All made tremendous contributions to our state and our country. With that in mind, Madam President, let me say this. While there may be some storm clouds in the current relationship between the leaderships of our countries, we will never forget the strong ties and friendships that bind us together as human beings. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Senator Mayer on the resolution. Senator May on the resolution.
Спасибо, госпожа президент. Хочу поздравить всех людей русского происхождения в Нью-Йорке в честь этого праздника, which is to say, I congratulate all people of Russian heritage in New York on this month for Russian history. As somebody who's spent a lot of my life studying Russian language and literature and culture, I am very happy that my colleague, Senator Jackson, has brought this resolution, because we should not lose sight of how important the connection is between Russia and America, and the important contribution of Russian immigrants to our society. I will add one that wasn't on his list, who is Vladimir Nabokov, who taught at Cornell University, just south of my district, for 10 years, and wrote some of the great novels in the English language. He wrote his first 9 novels in Russian, and then he switched and started writing in English and wrote some of the most beautiful English language that anyone has ever written. So his contribution is quite remarkable to our culture and to world culture. And I know there are many, many others who have brought the richness of the Russian language, the richness of Russian culture to our shores and enriched our culture as well. So I am happy to support this resolution. Thank you.
The resolution was previously adopted on April 20th. Senator Gianaris.
Senator Jackson would like to open that resolution for co-sponsorship.
The resolution is open for co-sponsorship. Should you choose not to co-sponsor the resolution, please notify the desk. Senator Gianaris.
Let's take up the reading of the calendar, please, Madam
The
President.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 78, Assembly number 955 by Assemblymember Thiel, an act to amend the insurance law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the same date and in the same manner as the chapter of the laws 2020.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 78, voted in the negative, Senator Skoufis, ayes 61, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 186, Senate Print 166B by Senator Gianaris, an act to amend the banking law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 180th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 186, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Gallivan, Helming, Jordan, Oberacker, Ort, Palumbo, Steck, and White. Ayes 53, nays 9.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 263, Senate Print 813 by Senator Biaggi, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 263, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Boyle, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Jordan, Lanza, Martucci, Matera, Oberacker, Ort, Palumbo, Sereno, Steck, Tedisco, and White. Ayes 46, nays 16.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 377, Senate Print 3966 by Senator Reichling Melnick, an act to amend the Public Health Law and the Social Services Law.
Read the last section.
Section 6, this act will take effect on the 180th day of it shall become a law.
We're on 377?
Yes.
He's supposed to lay the side.
The bill will be laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 397, Senate Print 1829 by Senator Skoufis, an act to amend the Public Authorities Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 62.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 420, Senate Print 199A by Senator Kaplan, an act to amend the Transportation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 62.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 537, Senate Print 5321 by Senator Kennedy, an act to amend the Real Property Actions and Proceedings Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 537, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Akshar, Borrello, Griffo, Helming, Jordan, Lanza, Martucci, Oberacker, Ort, Sereno, Steck, and Tedisco. Ayes 50, nays 12.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 567, Assembly number 3078 by Assemblymember Epstein, an act to amend the correction law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Gallivan, Griffo.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 567, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Lanza, Martucci, Oberacker, and Tedisco. Ayes 55, nays 7.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 583, Senate Print 5487 by Senator Rivera, an act to amend the Public Health Law.
Lay aside.
Calendar number 603, Assembly number 6015 by Assemblymember Dinowitz, an act to amend the Penal Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 62.
The bill is passed. Senator Giannaris, that completes the reading of today's calendar.
Please take up the controversial calendar.
Yeah. Secretary will ring the bell. The secretary will read.
Calendar number 583, Senate Print 5487 by Senator Rivera, an act to amend the Public Health Law.
Senator Lanza, why do you rise?
Madam President, I believe there's an amendment at the desk. I waive the reading of that amendment and ask that Senator Helming be recognized and heard.
Thank you, Senator Lanza. Upon review of the amendment in accordance with Rule 6, Section 4B, I rule it non-germane and out of order at this time.
Madam President, I appeal the ruling of the chair and ask that Senator Helming be recognized.
The appeal has been made and recognized, and Senator Helming may be heard.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, today we appeal the ruling of the chair because the proposed amendment is clearly germane to Senate Bill 5487, the bill before the House that we seek to amend. Both Senator Rivera's bill and the amendment relate to the public health law. Since the beginning of COVID-19, the governor has modified and suspended countless directives related to the public health law. While many argue the governor's superpowers have been repealed, he continues to issue executive orders directly affecting the Public Health Officers Law. On March 5th, this chamber passed a bill, and I quote from that bill, to terminate executive powers. As we've all seen, in reality, this bill does nothing of the sort. The governor has retained his powers and his unilateral control of state government. And he gets to keep those powers. They've actually been expanded and extended. Originally, the due date was April 30th that they were going to expire, but now they're extended until the end of the pandemic. And it's difficult to get an answer on when that will be. We have no idea. Under the law, directives already made by the governor remain in effect. What's more is that the governor maintains the ability to modify or extend his directives by giving 5 days' notice to the legislative majorities for review and comment. This law explicitly leaves out any notification or requirement to notify the minority. And just as equally critical, in my opinion, is that it doesn't require any advance notice to businesses, communities, and the public that's impacted by these mandates. On April 6th, the governor said that the 11 p.m. curfew for the bars and restaurants would remain in place until May 6th. Just a few days later, he changed that, and he said he was going to extend the curfew to midnight. The question that I have about this is that did the governor follow the law and provide the 5 days' notice to the legislative majorities? And if that's the case, if he did provide that notice, why didn't my colleagues on the other side of the aisle use that as an opportunity to take the necessary steps to eliminate the curfew? Section 3 of the law requires the governor to provide on his website in a searchable format additional information detailing the justification for these emergency directives and suspensions. In my opinion, that is not working and we need to fix it. And that's evidenced by the calls that so many of us are getting every single day from constituents who are asking for that justification. Looking at the governor's website myself, I haven't been able to find that information. It appears that there's justification for just 7 out of the 175 directives that the governor extended on April 6th. Why is this acceptable? Why aren't we taking action to correct this? You know what? We all hear those questions over and over again. Where is the science? Where is the data that supports these decisions? New Yorkers are really no longer at risk for COVID in bars and restaurants between the hours of 11 and midnight than they are between the hours of midnight and 1 or 1 and 2. Again, where's the data? We all want to see it. Last week, I had a reporter from a Syracuse newspaper reach out to me. He wanted to know if I knew what data the health department was using for the curfew, because the health department has absolutely refused to respond to his questions about what information they have. Madam President, the health department needs to share the data they are using to make these decisions. Business owners and the public deserve answers. We, as elected officials, we should be demanding transparency, and the Senate majority needs to use their powers to get the answers and to put an end to this. These arbitrary restrictions are hurting our local restaurants and bars, which are essential to our downtowns. They're essential to the economic livelihood of our communities. Many of these small businesses have closed, and too many others continue to struggle under the state's ever-changing restrictions. Section 5 of the law states that the legislature may terminate a state disaster emergency by concurrent resolution. During the March 5th debate on this bill, it was stated that if there is something in there you don't like, put it in a resolution and call for its repeal. We have the ability to do that with a simple majority. My colleagues and I have put forth 2 resolutions. One to rescind the curfew for bars and restaurants, another to rescind the mandate that requires customers to purchase food with alcohol. These resolutions have yet to be taken up. Our bars and restaurants are screaming for help. They're begging for our help. We're nearing peak tourism season. The state is launching a tourism campaign called Roam the Empire. It's to encourage New Yorkers to travel and vacation within our beautiful state. I think this is an absolutely fantastic idea. In the spirit of this campaign to bolster local tourism, we should be doing everything possible to support our tourism and hospitality industry, which includes removing the curfews on our bars and restaurants. School reopening is another area I believe where the state has failed New Yorkers, failed our children and families. The Senate should be leading the way on safely reopening our schools. We should be united in supporting the education of our children, their academic and social development, and their mental well-being. After waiting 6 weeks for updated guidance on reopening, the Health Department on April 9th released this information, but it was difficult to find, right? There was no grand announcement. It seemed to be done under the cover of darkness. The guidance, which generally follows the recommendation of the CDC, also left our schools and our county health departments scrambling and jumping through additional hoops to reopen. The Senate should be doing everything in our power to support students and families, small business owners and employees. The Senate should be doing everything within our power to stimulate our economic recovery and help people get back to work. But I think that's our problem, right? That we're not doing everything within our power. And the reason why we're not is because we've given that authority to the governor. We can do better, and we have to do better. We need to completely provide legislative oversight. This is how we ensure the voices of our constituents are being heard on the important matters facing our state. And so again, I urge my colleagues, for the good of our state and the communities and the people that we represent, restore the lawful role of the legislature. Reinstate our co-equal branches of government and our system of checks and balances. End the governor's extraordinary powers once and for all. For these reasons, Madam President, I strongly urge you to reconsider your ruling.
Thank you, Senator. I want to remind the House that the vote is on the procedures of the House and the ruling of the chair. Those in favor of overruling the chair signify by saying aye.
President, we've agreed to waive the showing of hands and record each member of the minority in the affirmative.
Without objection, so ordered. Announce the results.
Ayes 20.
The ruling of the chair stands and the bill in chief is before the House. Are there any other senators wishing to be heard? Seeing and hearing none, debate is closed. The secretary will ring the bell. Read the last section.
Section 6 is actually taking effect on the 90th day after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Stewart, Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 63.
The bill is passed. Senator Gianaris, that completes the reading of today's controversial calendar.
Is there any further business at the desk?
There is no further business at the desk.
Move to adjourn until Monday, April 26th at 3 p.m., intervening days being legislative days.
On motion, the Senate stands adjourned until Monday, April 26th at 3 p.m., intervening days being legislative days.